talk to one another.
Hmm.
I think our children need to feel that they are the most important people in our lives and that we're not too busy for them.
You're watching the Spotlight Network, starring Hollywood's
And if
newsman,
you were just
Logan
to
Crawford.
investigators, they now believe a single member.
He works with TV and film legends. And now, Logan's shining the spotlight on the world's top emerging authors and creators.
International were abducted.
This is Spotlight with Logan Crawford, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're starting a movement with Dr. Theresa Wee, MD. She's a seasoned pediatrician and a mom of four, and her breakthrough book is called The Happy, Healthy Revolution. Designed as a real-world wellness guide for working parents trapped in a cycle of exhaustion, this book offers a proven framework of practical tools and sustainable changes for the whole family. We will discover the secret to shifting from burnout to balance and achieving family-wide transformation without restrictive diets or guilt. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Books to Life Marketing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Hi, good morning. Aloha.
Aloha, good to see you. Thank you for joining us from beautiful Hawaii. You've got beautiful advice for a lot of families out there today that'll improve their health. People are trapped in a cycle of exhaustion. They're working 8, 10, 12 hours a day, both mom and dad. They come home and they look for the easiest dinner they can possibly make. And sometimes that includes processed foods and foods that aren't the healthiest, or ordering in or dining out that can be high in fats and oils and calories and sodium. So talk to us about this cycle of exhaustion and how we can break it.
Personally, I raised four children together with my husband, who was also a physician. We were both working parents, and it's so easy to put health and fitness for yourselves as well as for your family on the back burner. And what I was finding is that my children were becoming unhealthy. Today we have a pediatric obesity crisis.
Mhm.
This is the first generation of children to be less healthy than their parents. And now we're seeing so much mental and physical chronic health problems occurring in our youth. So I said, this is this is crazy. We need to start taking that first step, and the working parents really need help. So this is what really motivated me to start making small changes and practicing giving the tips, not only for my own family, but also to the families I was seeing in my practice.
Absolutely. What are some of the small steps that we can take to change the health profile of a family? We are seeing so many kids who are obese. When I was a kid, every kid was built like a rail. You maybe had one kid who was overweight in the whole class or even the whole school. Now it's the minority that are underweight. Um, Talk to us about how we can make some changes.
I think first off, I truly believe that the family unit, the parents are the leaders. So I try to talk with parents and make them understand how important, probably the best gift we can give our children is the gift of health, good health.
Mhm.
So first we get the parents on board, and then we gather the children, normal weight, overweight, obese. We get the entire family together,
Mhm.
rally them, parents be the role models. And then once we get everyone on board, then we begin to take little baby steps because we
Mhm.
want these lifestyles to last forever.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, it is funny, even I'm a parent of an adult child, and he eats a deli sandwich every day, turkey and cheese. I'm like, that processed meat's not good for you. And adding cheese to everything's not a great idea either. So even as a parent to an adult child, the parenting still goes on. It is
Yes.
tough to get people to adopt the mindset of avoiding processed foods. And some people think just because it's turkey, it's good for you. And it's not if it's loaded with nitrates and so forth and preservatives and fillers
Yeah.
and all of this stuff. Talk to us about how we can get onto more of a whole foods diet.
I think knowledge is power. And so I think we just have to educate people. I do believe that parents, even single mothers and fathers, we're all trying to do our best,
Hmm.
but we just need to get basic information. Now, we have the internet. 30 years ago, we didn't, but sometimes some of the information out there is not reliable. It's not true.
Hmm.
So we begin to doubt what is the truth. And so what I'm trying to say is after 40 years of practice and raising four children, now I have five grandchildren.
Wow.
I'd like to share these tips and secrets and simple steps that I think, would help parents take that first step. And in the book, for example, I talk about give the kids some chores.
Mm-hmm.
If the whole family on Saturday, each child would have a chore. And if we completed everything, we would do a family activity.
Yeah.
And that really motivated the kids.
Oh, yeah. That's how it was in my house. We were not allowed out of the house on Saturdays until we all cleaned the house. And each of
Right,
us got a
right.
room. And then maybe by 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my mother would let us go out or she would take us out somewhere, shopping or whatever it might be. But those old school sensibilities that our parents had have been lost because
Yes,
we do everything for our children in the name of
yes.
love. And unfortunately, often we're doing more harm than good, right?
We're trying to raise responsible, independent, hardworking, respectable adults. And that's the whole point of being a parent. We need to empower our children. And, I heard grumbling all the time. And why do we have to have family dinners every night? We're the most unusual family on this neighborhood. But I said, no, this is the way it
Yeah.
is. And I think we need to go back to the old school.
Yeah, I mean, those family dinners are so important. It's the sense of family gathering together, the art of conversation,
Yes,
manners,
yes,
portion control.
yes.
I remember my mom would buy a pound of hamburger to feed six of us. And,
Oh, yeah.
not, we weren't having half-pound hamburgers each, so that's a lot of it is those old school values are lost. Unfortunately, we thought we could do better. And we didn't. That's
You
the myth,
know,
right?
yeah, I think technology is good and bad. It's good because, all the kids now have computers and,
Hmm.
they don't need, actual books. However, everyone on their free time is on their phone, including the parents.
Yeah.
So, if the parent is looking at the phone and not talking to the child at all, what is a child to expect? I
Yeah.
think our children are looking to us and they just want a few minutes eye to eye with us. So that's why I always recommend spend 5 or 10 minutes at the end of the day and or at a family meal and just talk to one another.
Hmm.
I think we our children need to feel that they are the most important people in our lives and that
Yeah.
we're not too busy for them. And it doesn't have to be long. In our home, we used to have at the end of the day, all six of us would gather. We called it Talk About the Day. And each of the four kids, as well as ourselves, had to talk about just one thing that happened,
Hmm.
good or bad.
That's
And to
great.
this day, my kids remember that.
That's wonderful. They love the traditions. They love the values. We just have to not be pushovers. I mean, there were
Yes,
non-negotiables when I was a kid. Dinner was at 6 o'clock. You were there,
yes,
or you were in trouble. You went to church on Sundays. It was a non-negotiable. I mean,
yes.
you had to do your homework before you could watch TV. Again, another non-negotiable. And we parents have gotten very, very soft. My wife calls me a tofu heart because she says I'm just so much a pushover. And now I look back and I'm like, I really was. In many ways, I didn't do my kids favors by trying to be their friend, by trying to provide everything, by trying to do everything for them. Fortunately, they're productive, healthy, fit people. But I think the old school values are needed.
Yeah, and I don't want parents to become discouraged. I hope
Mhm.
this book will encourage people.
Yeah,
It's not about rules, but the book gives you some basic ideas to lay the foundation down for your parenting style. And, an example is how to solve a picky eater. In my home, I would say, here, guys, this is our dinner. You have two choices, take it or leave it. And if they left, they couldn't have any snacks. But that's the way it was. And
yeah.
I didn't go out to McDonald's and buy them a special meal or make mac and cheese.
Exactly. In fact, this is what I made. You didn't like dinner? My mom, this is what I made. If you don't like it, lump it. It's the same thing. There was no non-negotiables. You weren't going to, McDonald's was a rare treat, you know,
Yes.
and it was, sparingly. It's not, we weren't incorporating fast food into many diets, many meals during the week. And it's a problem when we see the problem. And it's there before our eyes. And unfortunately, a lot of it is done under the name of love. And a lot of it is done under the name of guilt, too. Some moms feel a lot of pressure that they're working so much that when they're off, they kind of try to overcompensate, right?
Yeah, but like I said in the book, I talk about get the whole family involved in meal prep, take
Yeah.
them grocery shopping, have them help clean up. And and it is possible to just take little steps. The smaller the steps, and the more gradual the change, the more permanent this change is. And it's amazing. Once you start doing this, the parents and grandparents start getting healthier.
Mhm.
It's just amazing. And everyone feels energized and less depressed. And you're just bonding as a family. And that's what I really, truly love.
Yeah, you're working as a family. Somebody sets the table, somebody's
Yes,
going to wash the dishes, somebody's going to peel the potatoes. I
right.
mean, everybody in my house growing up had a chore. And I look at my life now as I talk to you and I read your book, I'm like, I threw that all out the window foolishly because those kind of tasks were important. And,
Yeah.
it felt a little bit like drudgery when you're a kid, like, oh, it's my week to wash the dishes. Because
Yes.
we didn't have a dishwasher. We stood at the
No.
sink and washed the dishes,
It's
but
all teamwork,
yeah.
and this you're teaching your child, when they go into the workplace, this is how I need to be part of the team. So we're really teaching life basics, and I think children will thrive on routines and schedules. So I talk about, having a nighttime routine, having a chore routine, having a mealtime routine.
Talk to us about getting children's weight under control. I mean, this was an aspect that you didn't have to talk about years ago. In fact, I was so skinny as a kid, the doctor used to tell my mom, give me a milkshake with every dinner and put an egg in it to get fatten me up. So we had the reverse problems when I was growing up and you were growing up. But nowadays we have to watch what kids are eating and give us some advice on how we can get kids eating healthier, less processed food.
So as I mentioned, I treat all the kids in the family normal weight, obese. I think we just need to just teach everyone good, healthy habits. In other words, it's very multifactorial. So, let's start with, trying to eat more vegetables and fruits. Let's cut back on the processed and the ultra processed foods that we get at Costco in
Mhm.
packages. So again, it's really not isolating the obese child,
Yeah,
but even the parents getting on board, not buying as much soda
yeah.
or, even 100% fruit juice. A lot of people don't understand, but that is full of sugar and not a good choice.
Yeah, there's so much misinformation out there. Fruit
Yes,
juice is packed with sugar. A lot of it is apple
yes.
juice
Orange
and
juice.
yeah, orange juice. It's not really good for children. Eat
Yeah.
the fruit. Don't eat
Eat
the
the whole
juice.
fruit. So
Exactly.
so again, we get back to basics, and I tell people also frozen fruits and vegetables can also be convenient and inexpensive.
Exactly, exactly. And making smoothies, I find, is a great way to get your greens, your veggies, some almond milk. a little protein in there. So there are ways to get around it, but I think you're right that we have to become a little more enlightened as consumers. Realize that things like juices aren't necessarily good for us. Turkey's
Yeah.
good for you, or chicken's good for you if it's real chicken, not
Yeah,
boar's
of
head
course.
chicken.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we leave you today, what would you like readers to take away from your book? At the end of the day, after they've closed the last page, what would you like the takeaway to be?
I want parents to feel that they are not alone. Parenting is probably the most important job God has given us, and we all want to do a good job. But where do you begin? I'm I'm a working mom, I'm a working dad. I don't have time. No, you are not alone. And hopefully I can take you by the hand in this book and I walk aside beside you and we can figure out what needs to be worked on. Each family has different needs. And so this
Mm.
book addresses many different areas. And I want people to feel that there is hope. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you are not alone.
Absolutely. And this book is the guide to take you there to that light
Yes.
at the end of the tunnel. The name of the book is The Happy Healthy Revolution, The Working Parent's Guide to Achieving Wellness. It is an essential guide from Dr. Theresa Wee, MD, that offers real world, guilt-free paths for busy
Yes.
families to achieve balance and transformation together. Don't wait to shift from frustration to family-wide wellness. Start your revolution today. Doctor, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate your insight, your wisdom, and your old school family values to the folks at home. I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time.